It's wonderful to be with you this morning. I'm Laurie Cameron, and I'm a meditation teacher and a human flourishing coach, facilitator, and author. And I'm really dedicated to waking up to the process of awakening and becoming more and more conscious, heart-centered, removing the barriers that create separation and helping others do the same. And what I've learned in the last couple of years, although it's been a lifelong lesson, it's just really deepened, is the power of community to wake up ourselves, to drop the veils, to see more clearly, and to support each other in that process. So I am so grateful for this Center for Mindful Living so that we can come together and practice. I am coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, and just to express gratitude for this land I'm on just for 1 year. I have a temporary and precious impermanent situation of living on this 3 lots that are here held by these huge trees, and there's water on both sides. I'm right in the middle of a fork on the back creek that feeds the Chesapeake Bay. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of water, and the groundedness of trees, and that's really been informing my own practice and my own writing and teaching. So I just wanted to share that with you, to share this deep gratitude I have for this particular piece of land and for the ancestors that nurtured it and nourished it. So this morning we are going to explore the a core teaching from the Dharma, and that is the teaching of impermanence. And it's, many say, the most essential teaching in the Dharma. I don't think we need to bring in comparing mind or rank, which is the most important, but it is pretty important. The idea that everything changes. And we will use that core teaching in an exploration this morning of how this very truth that everything is changing, the cells in our body, the cycles of the seasons, our relationships, our families, communities, our political systems, our economic systems, everything is changing all the time. And that very essence is where we can find refuge, where we can access peace. So thank you all for being here. I'd like to start with meditation. So we'll drop into a meditation, and then we will explore some ideas and reflections together. And then we'll do some movement, and then I'll open it to Q&A. So if you have insights or questions that are coming up along the way, particular experiences you're having in the meditation or in the talk, make a note of that. And then you can bring it back to our group when we do the Q&A. So with that, I'm going to invite the bell. Many of you know I'm a longtime student of the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, and I got this spell at our practice monastery in Plum Village. And I invite it now. It was a way of having Thai be here with us and continue on in his teaching. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable. Feel your feet. Feel them making contact with the earth, the floor, the rug, the carpet, the grass, wherever you may be. And just envision the land that's beneath the structure that you're in. Just feeling the feet making contact and bringing the attention of the mind down to the feet. Moving awareness into the body, feeling the feet, envisioning the stability of the ground beneath you, allowing yourself to be supported, allowing yourself to be held. You might even experiment with envisioning yourself strong and magnificent and anchored, just like the willow oak that's behind me. Just seeing yourself as a strong tree, envisioning the roots extending out from your feet, moving down through the earth, reaching far and wide, connected, connected to the mycelium network, to other trees, part of a living, breathing ecosystem. Just like the tree, you too are interconnected. Living, breathing, being with other sentient forms of life. So just breathing here for a minute, feeling your treeness. Bring awareness into the trunk of your body, feeling your body breathe, feeling the felt sensations of breathing, the rise and fall of the chest, the rise and fall of the abdomen, taking a big breath in here and a slow, easy exhale. Sensing into the miracle of the aliveness that's expressing itself through you right now. Feeling all of the dimensions of that aliveness. Blood circulating throughout your body. Oxygen moving. Heart beating. All of the signals firing in the brain. Synapses connecting and parting. Energy flowing. You, this energetic being, fully alive, strong, centered, grounded. Bringing attention back to the in-breath, Taking a deep inhale here and a slow, relaxing exhale. And just resting here, taking a few cycles of breath on your own. Resting in the body. Pretty powerful. This capacity that we have to bring attention directly into the body, feeling the full sense of our aliveness. Using attention and intention. Be aware of the jaw, softening the jaw, relaxing, letting go, dropping the shoulders a bit, softening, softening the hands. And taking the next breath in a softening belly. And this one. And one more. You might feel the body letting go of contraction and tightness, and instead unfolding, inviting the energy to flow and move through all the energy centers. And now moving attention from the belly up to the heart. If you like, you can put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your belly, pressing just a little so you can feel that you're there for yourself. And now envision breathing in and out of the heart space. Taking a deep breath in, holding a bit, and a slow exhale. Take a few cycles of breath here, breathing in and out of the heart, envisioning the heart opening like a flower, flower fresh. That's who you are. The body calms the mind. The breath opens the heart. If your mind wanders or thoughts come in, you get distracted, no problem. Simply bring attention right back to the inhale and the exhale, to the felt process of breathing. Feeling, resting in the full aliveness of this body. We also know that it's changing every second. Every cell in the body completely changes so that the you that is sitting here right now will not be the same physiologically as the you that will be here at the end of this meditation class. We are not statues, we are rivers. Dynamic, changing, impermanent. Feeling this body breathe. Knowing that our impermanent, changing, energetic expression of life is dependent and affected by everything around us. The trees we walk under, the busy city streets we move through, the traffic jams, the news, the heavy energy of despair, the uplifting collective effervescence of gathering together for causes we believe in, cuddling an animal, hugging a family member. All of these things are affecting this life. You might invite in pictures and images or felt sensations of what has imprinted and affected your very aliveness this week. Seeing your impermanent being in the dependent co-arising of being affected by everything around it. We are boundaryless. Impermanence dances with interconnection. There's a flow back and forth. Everything is changing. Behold, everything becomes new. Now bring attention back to the breath, feeling the breath coming in at the nose, very specific. Feeling the lungs fall in the exhale. In the midst of groundlessness, we ground in the breath. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches conscious breathing is my anchor. We take refuge in the present moment, this moment, and then this one, and then this one, right here. Breathing together in community. We anchor attention on breathing. We can then, as a next step, widen the aperture. When we close the aperture, we bring it right into the breath, in the body, feeling the breath coming in at the nose, rise and fall in the belly. Very specific, concentrated, clear, focused anchor. And we calm, we ground ourselves, we find the center. And now we'll lift back, widening the aperture. See if you can move attention from the breath to the back of the eyes, behind the eyes, back of the head. A little wider. You may even move, experiment with bringing awareness behind the head or on top of the head. You might use the mantra, relaxing back, relaxing back. See if you can feel that just resting in the unified field of energy and aliveness. It's always here. It's breathing here, gently allowing that field of love to breathe you. You are being breathed. Resting here, dear one. This field of awareness is the groundless ground. Always here. So we rest back. See if you can loosen the grip on the steering wheel of your life right here. Just for a moment, can you let go? Can you trust? Here we invite surrender into the larger field of loving awareness. We can feel the words of Ram Dass moving through us. I am loving awareness. And I'll add, we are loving awareness. So breathing here, resting and knowing that you are a river. Changing, growing, feeling, breathing. And in the midst of it all, we create space for stillness, for pausing, for coming into the body, for breathing, calming the mind, for breathing together in community. And knowing that everything changes, and that makes everything holy, sacred. Each life, each glimpse of beauty, each song from a bird. We rest in this knowing in the midst of our despair and anger and pain and suffering. We practice together. We deliberately bring attention to the aliveness that's in us and around us. Putting a hand on your heart, sending blessings inward, loving kindness inward. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be safe and protected. May I be healthy and strong. And may I love and live with ease. May I live from an undefended heart. And now, sending out this very love to every person here in this community. And you can envision widening circles of your loved ones, your neighbors, your colleagues, our wider community. And if you can, all beings, all sentient beings, it's rippling out like waves in a pond. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong. May you have the resources you need. May you feel seen. May you feel understood. May you feel supported. May you live and love with ease. Resting attention on the breath. Feeling the power of the life that's right here. Stable as a mountain, strong as the willow oak, fresh as a flower. I'll invite the bell, and when you're ready, opening your eyes. Opening your eyes. You may take a stretch. You can expand like the tree behind me, branches out. So if you joined during that meditation, I'm so glad you're here. Nice to see so many beloved people in our community. Everyone is beloved, but it's just so good to see you. I'm Laurie Cameron, and we're exploring how impermanence, one of the core teachings of the Buddha and many, many spiritual teachers across traditions, is actually a refuge. And that may be a bit of a paradox if you think about it, because as human beings, we thrive in certainty. We find our strength in stability. And uncertainty is read by our nervous systems as a threat. When we don't know what's around the next corner, when we don't know what will happen to our job or our marriage or our child's safety, it activates the fight, flight, or freeze response in the body. Adrenaline flows, cortisol flows, our heart rate increases, our breath becomes shallow, our hands become sweaty, our throat contracts, our vision narrows. We have a powerful biological system that is activated when there's uncertainty. And we are living in so much uncertainty. The policies that are ever changing, the institutions that are collapsing, the economic infrastructure that spiraled down this week. There are just so many changes, not to mention the wars and hunger and plight of refugees. We all know the list. And in the midst of all of that, there are many sources that we learn in the Dharma that we can find a raft, or even better yet, solid ground, or this sense of solid ground. So we find groundedness in the groundlessness, and that's part of our practice. In a world that shifts and shakes beneath our feet, where change is the only promise kept, can we find something to truly rest in? We don't find refuge in the permanence. We find it in the flowing river, the fleeting truth of change. The poet Mary Oliver says, to live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And then when the time comes to let it go, let it go. In our meditation, we practice that. This letting go, this resting back, this taking the white knuckles from the steering wheel and slowly lifting our hands off and surrendering. And that's not easy. It starts with meeting ourselves right where we are and seeing our our flaws, our weaknesses, our beautiful facets of our personalities, the acts of service and kindness that we do, the harmful things we say, the full catastrophe, as John Kabat-Zinn says. And that self-acceptance is a stepping stone on this path of impermanence as a refuge. Jack Kornfield, one of my beloved teachers, founding teacher of Spirit Rock in California, says much of spiritual life is self-acceptance, maybe all of it. All of it. Much of spiritual life is self-acceptance. But self-acceptance requires seeing ourselves clearly and opening to the ever-changing flow of life with kindness. So this impermanence as a refuge starts close in right here with a capacity to pause and remove the scales from our eyes to see ourselves just as we are. We only have now, and that is enough. That is the refuge, says Jack. He invites us to settle into the present moment, not as a fixed point, but as a dynamic point that's changing. So let's feel that right now, this pausing and knowing that everything's changing. And we can bring that attention, that awareness right into our own experience of being human. Knowing that we've got this impermanent part, this part that continues on, this ever-changing aspect of who we are. And then we've got the human part, the personality, the conditioned mind, the coping mechanisms, the parts in us that we carry, that we just can't seem to set down. So we flow between the human and the spiritual. And when we practice, we bring attention into the body, into this beautiful temple that we're walking around in. And we let the body anchor us in the midst of everything flowing. We find refuge right here in the body. The body calms the mind. And then we bring attention to breathing and we relax back into the wider field. That's what we did in our practice. And we know that because of impermanence, with everything changing, it can be the ground of freedom. Again, sounds like a paradox, but because everything changes, nothing is stuck, nothing is fixed. Not our hurt, not our heartbreak, not our health, not the constellation of our family, not the constellation of our government, not a policy. Nothing is stuck, it's all flowing. Thich Nhat Hanh says, thanks to impermanence, anything is possible. Thanks to impermanence, anything is possible. And I invite you to reflect, just closing the eyes for a moment. Where has that been true in your own life, where you thought you were in a situation that was utterly impossible, heartbreaking? Maybe there was a lot of anger, there was injustice. And just looking at where that may have changed, what came through, what was the unfolding there in that river. So we actually see that with the things that are changing, even things we're losing, that it's not really a loss. What's inside of that is freedom. That's what Thai, that means teacher in Vietnam, Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us, that there's freedom in impermanence. And in these really, really difficult times right now in the world, it's not just in the United States, it's global. I just got back from France and Italy, a birthday trip, and it's everywhere. We're all experiencing states of disbelief and despair. And in the truth of impermanence, we know that things are changing, things are flowing, things are shifting. Whatever we are feeling now, it will pass. The thoughts that are moving through our minds are temporary. We take refuge in impermanence. Sri Nisargadatta says a quote that I'm sure many of you know, so beloved: wisdom tells me I'm nothing. Love tells me I'm everything. Between the two, my life flows. It reminds us that our self, in and of itself, it's not fixed. It's fluid, arising and dissolving, co-arising and dissolving, affected by everyone and everything around us. It's in this impermanence that we access and feel our true nature, that we're spacious, we're expansive, and we're free. So we bring attention in, like we practiced in the meditation. We bring it in, we concentrate. We practice focused attention. And then we widen the aperture out, we relax back. That is our true nature, right there, that boundarylessness. And then we exercise that muscle, that attention muscle. We bring it back in and concentrate. And here we use agency. We bring attention, and agency together to engage. Thai teaches us that our job is not to sit on a meditation cushion and rest. Our job is to be active in the world, to say, what is mine to do? And that back and forth, resting in awareness, coming back, concentrating, asking the question, what is mine to do, is how we use this practice in a very practical way, nourishing ourselves, moving into focused attention and action. Ram Dass says, all happens as it happens. All is dust and all is spirit. Nothing of value is lost, for what is truly yours cannot be taken. And that really, for me, brings up the teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh when he invites us to see the cloud in our tea. That we've got the cloud, we've got the rain, we've had so much of that the last few days. And the rain comes down and the water is harvested and we brew our tea and we sit with reverence in that sacred present moment and we see the cloud in our tea. We see the continuation. Nothing of value is lost. And so it requires that right now, this impermanence, seeing the cycles. In the Bible, it teaches us that there's a season for everything. Everything's changing. We receive the same Dharma, the same truth across all traditions. So Ram Dass also says that suffering is part of our training program for being wise. And so there's a discipline here. There's a discipline in practicing being present, not losing ourselves in distraction, in social media, in the news, which can just suck us right in, but being careful with where our attention is so that we can pause and reflect. We can be in conversation, conscious conversation with our spiritual friends, and really looking at what we're learning. How are we becoming wiser? How are we sharing our gifts in the midst of all this uncertainty? So we learn to let go. We practice that in the meditation because clinging causes suffering. And right now, with so many of my students and people that I'm coaching, the challenge is how easy it is to cling to the idea of right and wrong, that this decision is wrong, this is right. This movement is wrong, this is right. And this is really a really challenging place of practice. But when we start to practice resting in impermanence, we start to see that everything is passing and we loosen the grip of attachment. Again, we can look at the clouds moving through the sky. We have this vast, deep blue, this big sky mind, and the clouds coming through. We had so much beautiful rain the last 2 days. It's impermanent. The sun came out a little bit this morning. Now it's behind the clouds, but the weather reminds us of this. Jeff Foster, the poet Jeff Foster, I love his work, says that sometimes you wake up one day and you realize the weight you've been holding is no longer yours to hold. And so partly we do that through letting go, through seeing the wider space. And partly we do that in Sangha, in community. We share with our brothers and sisters, we share with each other the weight we're carrying. We march together, we meditate together, we pray together, we play and improv, we share poetry. We don't carry this weight alone. And then we bring attention to what's sacred. So we constantly practice that focused attention. We open up, we open the heart like that bud, that flower. We feel it all. We're not pushing anything away. We're sensing what's here. We're using the skill of interoception. In the midst of the ever-changing river, what is arising? What is the weight I'm feeling in the chest? What is the nausea in the belly? What is the anger in the throat? We feel all that. And then we relax back. We feel it, we let it go. This is the constant work. This is being a river. This is taking refuge, knowing that this too shall pass. And in between that, we bring attention to the beauty, to the tree, to the little mushrooms spouting up after the rain, to the birds flying overhead, to the cherry blossom petals falling when the wind blows. This is available. This is also part of the beauty of impermanence. Mary Oliver says, part of a poem, the ending of a poem that is so beloved. She says, when it is all over, I want to say that I was a bride married to amazement. I was the the bridegroom, taking the world into my arms. Let's just pause for a moment, feeling the sacredness of that commitment, that vision. When it is all over, I want to say I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world in my arms. So we rest in impermanence. Every moment of sacred beauty is even more holy because it's passing, because it's impermanent. The despair and the pain, we feel acutely, we invite it in, we transmute it in the body, taking in the black smoke, blowing out the white. We have the power to do that. And we refuel, we nourish ourselves by taking in the sacred, the holy, the beauty, by loosening our grip, relaxing back into the unified field, the source energy that's always there, and resting in that. Opening your eyes if you like and seeing that this is the miracle. We take refuge in the present moment. The only thing we truly have is this moment, says Thich Nhat Hanh, and that is enough. And our presence for one another in a state of beingness, that is our work to do. We balance and titrate between the being and the doing. There is no destination, no resolution, no perfect place to reach. Just this and this and this again. An eternal unfolding. That's Jeff Foster again, this eternal unfolding. So I want to bring in this point of what also is available, what also arises in the truth of impermanence, in the cultivation of self-acceptance, in the opening of the heart, and bringing attention to the beauty in the sacred moment, in this river of life. And that's compassion. Compassion blossoms in the light of impermanence. When we see the fragility of this human life, when we see how fragile each one of us is, when we see how fragile institutions are, when we see how fragile what we thought was a done deal is undone, this can be a doorway to opening the heart, to softening. And so the invitation now in finding the ground and the groundless is cultivating that strong back and that soft front. Thank you to Roshi Joan Halifax for that beautiful mantra, that vision, that commitment. I'm going to cultivate that strong back, just like that willow tree behind me, and a soft, tender front. I'm going to stay open. Everything is welcome. Everything belongs. I'm going to witness all the other beings around me with open eyes, open heart, seeing myself in them, no matter who they are, what sign they're holding, or how they voted. That's the work. We move with love instead of fear, presence instead of panic. As Ram Dass says, we're all just walking each other home. We only have now. The present moment is the refuge. And so we hold hands. We sit in circle. We keep one hand on our heart, sending love inward, and one hand on the back of our neighbor. How can I help? Where does it hurt? What do you need? And so we do macro movements, big actions, and we do tiny carrying the groceries of a neighbor. We just stay open because even the most difficult situations will pass. I'll close with another Mary Oliver, just her beautiful question. Tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your wild and precious life? How will you practice? What is your priority each day? How can the truth of interconnection, dependent co-arising, that we all affect each other, and impermanence, these two Dharma truths intersecting, how can that guide you this week? Putting a hand on the heart, closing the eyes. Feeling the truth that's right here that we shared. Feeling the presence of each other in widening circles out. So many people practicing today, praying, meditating, walking the labyrinth, making art, chanting, singing, moving into yoga asanas, drumming, dancing. We feel all of this and its sacredness. We deepen our commitment to practice. We allow our light to shine a little brighter. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be well. And may you know that you are love. Thank you.